Today we have Mel here on the Wealthy Weirdos podcast. And let's just start, introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about you.
Oh gosh, where do I start? I'm Mel M Rubin, first and foremost, and that's my given name as well. And I currently live in Bali, but I'm from London, and my journey started in 2017. Before I call it my conscious life creation journey, because this is when I consciously started to really think about, okay, well, what do I actually want that's away from societal expectations or the way that I've been programmed or conditioned? If money or time wasn't an issue, what would I have? That's when I really started to think about this. And to be completely honest, the reason that I started my journey in the industry that I'm still in is because of the money. I wasn't in a great situation financially. And if you know anything about astrology, I'm very Aquarius heavy. And then when it
Mm.
comes to human design, I'm a reflector as well. So freedom is a very huge thing for me. And I saw the freedom, and then I was like, well, I need the money for the freedom. And then ultimately, through going through this journey of creating the money that I desired, I actually realized that wealth was so much more than money, which
Yeah.
has, and I know very, and I'm getting full body chills as I'm saying this,
Mm.
when you just know why you're here. And when I was very younger, I knew that I would be wealthy. I knew that I would make an impact and reach so many people. And I just was what's the word, comparing it to Britney Spears, because I loved Britney Spears and I
Yeah.
loved singing. And yeah, it's very interesting how it's transpired. But yeah, through this whole process, I've realized that wealth is so much more than money. And looking back, because I regularly back on my journey to reflect, not to stay in the past, but to see how far I've come and to understand the lessons that I've learned and how I've evolved. So looking back, now I know with everything that's going on in the world, why I had to go through the process that I did in respects to understanding wealth before the wealth actually comes and showers
Mm.
into my life, because this is the way that the new earth leaders are being called to lead now, is to understand what wealth truly is from the heart rather than from the ego. And in my industry, because it's high ticket, there's a lot of ego in the industry, and
Definitely.
there's a lot of very good salespeople and marketers, but not very good coaches and mentors that actually care about their people. They just care about the money.
Yeah.
And yeah, I needed to go a certain way to get out of the ego of all of that money flowing in, because that happened to me 2020, 2021. I had more money than I fucking, excuse my French, knew what
You're
to do
good.
with. And then because I got catapulted into leadership, there were certain masks that I felt like I needed to hold. Like I felt like I needed to have it all together and to lead in
Mm.
this masculine way, because that's what was around me. And remember, I'm a reflector, so I mirror and amplify my environment. So if I've got leadership that's misaligned with my true heart, there's this so I had to go through this whole journey of actually walking on my own for a few years to really understand my compass, which has been hard. However, I came here for this.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where that went.
I love that. So, yeah, it sounds like you had this journey of, okay, lots of wealth coming in this coaching industry, which I feel like there's so much we could get into there. But also I'm curious, I'm just curious right off the bat, well, what is true wealth? And, how would you describe that?
So for me, true wealth is safety and security, but it's safety and security in all areas. It's feeling safe and secure within self and
Mm.
feeling anchored and convicted in who the fuck we are and why the fuck we came here, in a way that is graceful and kind and loving, in a way where we don't need to necessarily walk in a room and announce ourselves. It's all behind the energy of the inner knowing, of the security that we've created within us, of I know who I am and I don't need to prove anything.
Mm.
It's that, and it's also within our relationships. So feeling safe and secure and loved and seen and accepted in our relationships, feeling respected in our relationships, feeling revered for who we are and celebrated for who we are, and trusted in respects to our own path, because we've all got different paths. So it's being in relationships that, oh, okay, cool. All right, I trust you with that. I might not understand it, might be a little bit weird for me, but if you're really anchored in there, and if there's any concern, should we say, can I offer? And it's the communication in the relationships as well,
Mm.
rather than giving unsolicited advice of what someone thinks someone else should have. It's, hey, something's coming up for me right now because I've got a concern based on what I've experienced. Can I share this with you? Is that okay? Are you open to this? Rather than meh, 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 because that can really throw someone off their compass in respects to
Right.
their own internal safety and security when they're not convicted in themselves. So there's that within our relationships, and most importantly, within our inner circle relationships. So the people that we're spending our most time with, and most especially our partner in life, because our partner in life is really going to affect everything in our life, especially women, because we give so much and because we have such a big heart. And just subconsciously, it's not done maliciously, subconsciously and unconsciously, men do take our life force. That's just the
Mm.
way of the masculine and the feminine relationship. So if you're a woman with a man that's not fully supportive or acceptive of you and what you're doing, that's a huge energy leak. And I've had to go through all of the hard journeys for this. I speak from my own experience of emotional and narcissistic abuse here, of where I overgave, overextended, abandoned myself. And then I got out of it and I realized, oh, wow, my power was just woo going towards them. They were thriving, and I was like, oh my God, I have no energy. So that, and then also within our communities as well. So it's not a case, and it's very important for every single one of us to be in our own anchor point of self-leadership. Everyone's a leader in their own right. We're just different leaders. Some are a bit more out there, like me, that want to pop up and speak and talk and, bring the energy in and all of that stuff.
Oh yeah.
Whereas some are more background leaders that like to deal with the systems and make sure everything's organized. And just because they're not front facing doesn't necessarily mean that they're not a leader. They're just really good at leading at what I'm not necessarily good at, what I don't like doing myself. So
Mm.
then uh, there's this symbiosis between the leaders that come together to create the visions that they have that are
Mm.
similar to expand. And this is where the collaboration and the co-creation comes in within community, rather than this hierarchical stuff of
Right.
someone's at the top because they've got more money, higher rank, and yeah, it's all of that stuff. Rather, no, we're all equal. Yeah, some people might be a couple of chapters ahead here, but that doesn't mean that you're not a couple of chapters ahead somewhere else that
Right.
you can teach the other person. And this is why it's really important to get out of the ego and into the mind of the fact that we're all equal, we're just at different stages.
Right.
So that's that's wealth within the people sense, and the community sense
Mm.
is the community also is there's no competition. It's all
Right.
collaboration. We're all revering each other for our power, our medicine, and our magic. And
Mm.
everyone has different power, different medicine, different magic. And just because someone's power might activate something within you, because it's very natural for some kind of discordance to come up, whether that be feelings of jealousy or inadequacy when someone is shining brightly in their power, in their light. It's natural that
Mm.
they're going to cast the shadows. However, the way that you feel about them, that's nothing about them and everything about you.
Right.
So then this is where the mirror work comes in, which is what I'm very huge in within my work. When I started in the high ticket affiliate marketing industry, and then that led me into the coaching industry. And
Mm,
then I merged both of them together because, as you understand, people in high ticket affiliate marketing, they're very good marketers, very good salespeople, but not very good leaders. And
right.
I'm very, very passionate about supporting my tribe succeed in all of the ways. It's not just building a successful business, it's building a successful life. Because if you got all this money, if you're not happy in yourself, what's the point? You know, there's
Right.
no point. And money is very important. I'm not, and that is a part of wealth as well, because money is resource. And the mass population have been programmed in a way to believe that being poor is a virtue, even if they
Yeah.
might not consciously think
There's a
it.
lot of that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really deep within our ancestral inheritance and our DNA and all of that jazz. So it's it's really thinking, how is being poor a virtue exactly? I'm sitting here struggling, and because I'm struggling, I'm in stress, and because I'm in stress, I'm not healthy, and because I'm not healthy, I'm in a low vibrational frequency, and because I'm in a low vibrational frequency, I'm more easily controlled and manipulated. So how is that a virtue? How is that good? How is that wealthy? That's
Right.
not wealthy.
Not helping
And
anyone.
money's important for the resource, because
Yeah.
money in the hands of good people is what's going to change this world. If we have
Mm.
a look at the wealth gap at the moment, and it's crazy. It's crazy. It's like some, don't quote me exactly on the numbers, go and do your own research. 1% of the world's population own 45 to 50% of the world's wealth.
Yeah.
And then 55% of the population, something like that, own 1% of the world's wealth. It's like complete opposite. And then in between, it's, you've got like 20% owning 30% or something like that. I can't remember the numbers, but go check it out because it's crazy. It makes me so angry
Right.
because we're being made to believe, we're being programmed, there's no money, there's a shortage, inflation's going up, whereas the wages are not going up, and people are being pushed into this corner. We can see this
Right.
right now
Mhm.
happening with everything that's going on globally with the digital IDs. They want to move everything to digital currency, all of that stuff to control them and say, and they've actually said, you will have nothing and be happy. That's what they've said. No,
Mm.
no,
Yeah.
I will have everything I want and I'll be even
Yes.
more happy. But
Right.
we only do this together, right? We can
Right.
only do this together. And this is where being authentic comes in as well, which ties back to the personal power. That's
Right.
wealth, is being able to be authentic, being able to just say what's on your mind without shaking, and from a place of power and kindness and love, and
Yeah.
not projecting, and being aware of what's going on here. Like, I have a friend
Yes.
staying with me. I've lived on my own for over 10 years, and I'm noticing things coming up, and she can
Mm.
feel it, and I'm noticing, and before she's even saying anything, I'm like, look, there's things coming up for me, and I'm sharing it with her. And she said to me yesterday, I thank you, and I really love how aware you are with everything. And this is wealth as well, because when we're aware of what's going on inside, we're not blaming, attacking, defending, all of that stuff. We're like, oh, cool, I've noticed this, and I really love you, and I don't want to cause any kind of angst. So I'm just
Right.
letting you know that this is going on for me right now, and saying it right then without, and this, she's obviously here because she's a mirror for me,
Right.
for remnants to be cleared, because I never used to be able to speak up for myself
Mm.
because I was worried that people would take it personally because I'm so sensitive, right?
Right.
So yeah, there's so many different puzzle pieces to it. But yeah, wealth is nowhere near what we've been programmed for it to be. We've been programmed for it to be
Right.
these houses, these cars, and all that.
And
Yeah.
that's not nearly the half of it. Yeah, I love that you talk about it in this like multi-dimensional way of like all these different areas of your life and tying that back into the personal power, because one of the first things that came to mind as you were speaking was how a lot of people who are starting their own business or like starting their own way and trying to build their own wealth, like I think a lot, like most of the time, they end up outsourcing a bit of their personal power. And it's tricky because you want to learn. And of course, there's things you don't know, and there's people who've done it. And so there is this aspect of like, well, let me learn from this person who's done something that I want to do. But it's exactly like you said, when the personal power isn't there and they don't know who they are, that it's like you're saying that level of wealth
Yeah.
isn't in them. And then they end up not just learning from this person, but outsourcing to this person. And it's a
Uh-huh.
leak. And they might not have even, some of them are probably bad coaches or bad leaders, but that's not even the point. Like sometimes they might have done nothing necessarily wrong, but when you're in that position of like not being in your personal power and that person's not an expert on getting you into your personal
Yeah.
power, then you end up leaking wealth even if you do A, B, and C perfectly. And I see that so often, which is like a
Yeah.
big part of what I think I try to communicate is like, hey, yeah, part of what I'm doing when I work with somebody is like, let's make sure you're in your personal power. Like I'm
Yeah.
always coming back to that because without that, and I never thought of it as a wealth thing, like, but it makes sense because of course it is. It's like that's part of you being wealth is being sovereign, is
Yeah.
being in your power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Completely agree. And this is what I've seen over and over again in my industry. So when I first started in 2017, it was a completely different terrain. It was very
Mm.
led by the bro marketers, masculine led, all of that. So it was this plug in and play. I'll just run adverts, just plug in, do it. It's easy. If you're in your personal power and you're convicted, sure. But if you're
Right.
not, so people were joining, being sold on their dreams, and then basically outsourcing their power. And I'm someone that's like, no, don't tell me what to do. So I ended up going my own way and doing my own thing anyway.
Right.
And that's what I bring into the work that I do. It's like it's merging that together. And it's all a frequency. And I bring it back to wealth frequency. This is exactly what my branding is for the ecosystem that I've created.
Mm.
And when we're on the frequency, whether it be of wealth, freedom, love, then it comes. And it's a law of the universe. You can't have it if you don't have it. Now, for
Right.
our human mind, what? Well, I'm never going to have it because have it is tangible, right, in my hands.
Mm. Hmm.
Whereas having it is actually a frequency thing. And this is where quantum physics comes in and doing that internal work to become the match of what it is that you want, because life is simply mirroring everything that's going on inside of you. So if you're not vibrating or operating at a frequency of wealth, of freedom, of leadership, of whatever that may be, it's going to reflect out. And this is where the lessons come in that we get to learn through looking deeply into the mirror. And instead of blaming and projecting, we're taking full ownership and accountability, which the majority of
Mm.
people, unfortunately, they don't do because they've been trained to be followers and they've been trained to be weak. And I say this without judgment because I was there. I came from my rock bottom. It's been a fucking journey. The only way that we're able to create everything that we want is by stepping into our self leadership in respects to, okay, well, I'm here, I want to be here, what do I need to do here, and what's right for me, not
Yeah.
what they're saying, she's saying, who's saying, doing, whatever. No, what feels good for me. I'm really sitting with self, which is also something that people are scared to do, is to sit with themselves because of all of the feelings that come up.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it comes down to, right? Is all of those feelings. And you talked, the first thing you said about wealth too was, yeah, that's safety, which is really what it all boils down to is like, I always talk about, safety, belonging, and worthiness. But really,
Mm.
like all three of those things, they tie in together. They tie in to the same themes of safety and connection, essentially, is like, which is also pretty much synonymous with safety as a human being, right? We
Mhm.
need connection.
Yeah.
So that's really what it comes down to is like, can we meet those needs? Can we like embody that frequency and meet that need within our body? And it's so much more than just like healing. It's which of course it is, but it's also like it's exactly everything you said. It's wealth, it's relationships, it's everything that we're building together. And I like how you talk about wealth as a community thing as well. Like exactly like you're saying, this is a new paradigm, right? We have to like shift our understanding of wealth into the world we actually want to be living in, which in turn will make it easier for people to feel safe so they can do this with less work, hopefully, than we had to.
Yeah, and I mean this has been in my consciousness for a while in respects to the whole community aspect. However, through this conversation right now, as you were just speaking, it just came into my even further into my consciousness. If you zoom out and look at this 1%, they're a group, yeah. They buddy. I mean, we've all seen it with everything that's been coming out even more recently.
Right.
They all buddy up together. They all help each other. They're all in this little crew, this little club. What do you think they're doing with their wealth? They're supporting each other get wealthier
Yeah.
together in community. And you zoom out even more and just look at it all. They've done everything that they can to segregate us, divide us, and break away our communities. When I lived in London, we didn't know our neighbours. We didn't trust
Mm.
anyone. So they've done everything to create distrust between communities. And it starts with self, because most people don't even trust themselves. They can't even be there for themselves, right? So it all starts within first and foremost.
Right.
And we look at that, they're all helping each other. And then you see the agenda at play, just really zooming out on what they're doing in politics, left and right, blah, 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 all this. I've been so unplugged for like 8.5 years.
Yeah.
I just see the circus for what it is now. However, it is what it is. And so many people are in it. And I feel for them because I've been in that too. And I guess maybe you have as well. The majority have.
Oh
I don't want
yeah.
to speak for you.
Oh, I definitely have been.
And this is why also it's like proof. Okay, well, that's how they're getting wealthier. Now we must come together and support one another. And what's important is, okay, well, what's the resonance of my body saying with what this person is saying? Because that was a really huge lesson for me. And that's also a part of wealth, is being connected, and personal power is being connected to your intuition and
Yeah.
trusting your intuition in your own way. Because when I first started my journey, the first mentor that I had, outwardly I saw what he had. He's like flashing the cash and I've got this life and all of that. And also I saw the vision because I saw the way that the model worked and the career plan. And I'm like,
Mm.
this Aquarius and this reflector, it just makes sense. Make money being ourselves, share the love, build community. It just makes sense for me, you know?
Yeah.
So I was all in it, even though my intuition said, no, don't go with him. So
Mm.
that was a big lesson for me, especially as a reflector, because my environments matter. If I'm in the wrong environment, things are not going to move for me.
Right.
So things didn't move for me in the way that I wanted, which ultimately caused me to make the decision, because I like to zoom out. I'm a very big picture thinker in the sense of visionary and what's being created. And I'm also able to zoom out of myself and of situations to see all of the perspectives.
Yeah.
So I looked at it and I was like, okay, I'm doing everything right. I'm taking ownership in everything. I'm not bypassing and saying that I'm doing the work when I'm not. I'm doing everything. And the only missing link here is the community. So then when I
Mm.
moved and placed myself in the right environment, that's when things catapulted,
Took off.
which is like it for the majority of people as well, because we feed off of the people that we're around. So when it comes to, okay, I want to build wealth, I don't know where to start. I don't know who to start with. There's going to be, especially on threads. Yeah, we met on threads and
Yeah, we did.
I love the internet so
Love
much. It's
it.
amazing. And I see all of these posts of, I'm looking for a mentor. I want to leave my 9 to 5, this, that, whatever. And so many people are like, flock, and share their stuff. And when we're doing this and when we're researching, it's really important to be discerning of, okay, well, does their frequency align? Does their
Right.
message align? Are they walking the talk and doing everything that they say they are? Not just do they have what I want, but are they being who I want to be? Are they the type of person that I want to embody in a way? Because when we're working with mentors, we tend to get a little bit of them in us,
Oh yeah.
especially when we're finding our personal power, like you said, because it's learning from them and learning their ways. So
Yeah.
yeah, intuition is really huge and really feeling into that energy. Because even though I might be great for one person, for another person, they're like, no, she's not for me. And that's okay. That's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
And this also comes back to the personal power piece. I'm in a place where I don't take things personally anymore. If you don't feel like I'm for you and what I've got is for you, that's okay. Go and find someone else. I wish you the best. I really do, because I just generally want everyone to be successful in their own way, in a way that feels good. So
Yeah.
this is also a huge piece, because we take rejection personally, and it's never
Right.
personal. It's never
Oh,
personal.
yeah. I've been so guilty of that in the past. There's a lid for every pot, of course. But when I
Mm.
first started this business, which was
Uh-huh.
not that long ago, like a year and a half ago, um, I really, was in that mode of like taking it personally, like I must be doing it
Mm.
wrong. And now it's really shifted where I feel like it's a game in a really like beautiful, playful way where I'm not taking it personally and also I'm always trying to get better. And I think that that was the like there's like a nuance there of no, I'm not just saying like, oh yeah, it's all good. Like, no, of course I can improve. I can improve the way I communicate. I can improve everything. But that's fun. Like when it's not, oh, something's wrong with me and you just want to get better because you love what you do, that's a fun thing. And that's actually something that comes up a lot with my clients because, even if people aren't consciously like, oh, I'm taking it personally, they kind of are, right? It's like they go to sell something and then it maybe doesn't get the immediate response and then they instantly pull back. I just see that all the time where it's like, no, it's okay. Like stick with it, you don't need the validation immediately. Like you have something good here, right? And I think that that's part of it too. But also what you were saying like got me thinking about environment a lot. That's just been like pinging me over and over. Like this conversation around environment has been coming up and I'm a projector in human design. But I only have two defined centers. It's just like the G center and the throat. So
Okay.
I'm just here to speak. That's all I'm here to do, I guess. But everything else is open, which I don't have a super in-depth understanding of human design, but from what I know, it's like, yeah, I really need to be careful about my environment. I need to have space. I need to let things flow. I need to, and I realized actually the less I consume, like if I mean, I barely scroll ever anymore. Like but I just mean any consumption, like even reading, like I need to sometimes really step away from that and literally just talk to myself at a tree. And that's when things really start moving. And it's like, so what is that for you? It's going to be a little, now everybody's going to be talking to themselves at a tree, maybe. But, knowing what that environment is for you, of how you really like how do you tap into that intuition? I think it's a little different for everybody.
Yeah, it's really important. And my process is more through writing and speaking
Yeah.
for me. And I used to, it's been very interesting too with the whole communication aspect as well, and oversharing. That was a really big thing for me as well.
Mm.
And this, when it comes to refining ourselves at the start, because we all go through it on our journey of entrepreneurship, of feeling these inadequacies because of the way that society has programmed us. It's just that it just is what it is. It doesn't mean that anything's wrong with us. It's just the way that we've been programmed through the media, through school, all of this stuff. When your eyes are open, you can see it all for what it is. And it's like, okay, well, that's not me. And it's shedding everything that isn't me to get
Yeah.
back to me, which is my true essence and my true power and my true conviction. So this is the very first start of our ego deaths
Yeah.
of, oh, I feel rejected. Okay, well, where's that coming from? Let's alchemize this. Let's clear the energy. Let's feel. because again, it's not them. They've just triggered it, which is great because it's coming up. Now be with yourself and come to the conscious realization of where that's come from, because it's not come from you, it's come from someone else. So, okay, it's come from my teacher, my mum. Okay, well, what makes it not true? And how would you have liked that to go differently? And then let it out, change the energy around that memory, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is all it is. It's just that over and over and over and over again. It's playing that conscious awareness, and it's being consciously aware when we come out of that loop as well, because we get into the conscious awareness and then we're like, oh no, I'm just going to live unconsciously for a little bit again. And then it's like,
Yeah.
oh, why is my life not so good? Oh, it's because of that.
Oh, yes. Yep. I know exactly how that goes. I feel like there's
So
always
it's
this thing you should be like not should, but there's always like at least for me, I feel like when I'm moving into a new frequency and like out of a loop and into like building new structure essentially and energetic structure in your life, it's like there's always this way of being that I know I'm meant to be doing. Like sometimes it's really simple, like not rushing, for example. Like I don't rush. That's
exactly,
not the timeline I'm on, right?
exactly.
But then it's like it's yummy to rush in a weird way. Like I want the comfort of like no, but I have to like do this. And it's not that it never happens, but I think at least that's what came up when you were talking where I'm like, yeah, there's always that little thing that only you could really know. Like
Yeah.
you've got to just be radically honest with yourself because you can do all the right things, but if you're breaking a loop and you're breaking a pattern and coming into a new structure, that has to live in your embodiment when no one's watching and like the tiniest little things of like who am I being right now? And how does that feel in my
Yeah,
body?
for sure.
It's awareness.
Yeah, yeah. And a huge part of that as well, as I know it has been for me, wouldn't be for everyone, but it's really learning the boundaries of what people think we should be doing and how we should be being, essentially. Oh, you should be doing this, you should be doing that, you should be showing up that way. Don't speak like that, don't be like that. It's like, sorry, who are you to tell me who to be? You have no idea. So it's really learning how to set those boundaries first
Oh
by
yeah.
voice. And as we do that by voice and we anchor into our conviction, it gets to a point where energetically we don't even need to speak those boundaries anymore, because our frequency has been raised to a point where we don't even invite that in. And it's noticing, okay, well, when we're actually inviting certain things into our frequency, I like to call it a socket and a plug, right?
Mm.
And like, you know, there's a lot. Narcissism's very rife right now. I keep
Mm.
seeing loads of different posts about it, and like I said, I've experienced that myself. And there's no blame or shame towards these people, because they're operating off of their own trauma, and we all have essences of narcissistic traits anyway,
Oh
but
yeah.
simply because of the society that we've been brought up in. However, it's the empaths typically that deal with the narcissist in respects to the abuse.
Mm.
And at first, when I would go through the toxic ways of this dynamic, I'd be like blaming them. It's not me. And then when I really started doing this mirror work back in 2020, I was like, okay, well, I'm the common denominator here.
Mm.
And we can apply this to any situation that we have, whether it be abuse or and it's not, I don't say it in a way of victim shaming or blaming, because no one deserves that. No one
Right.
deserves that. I didn't deserve that. No one ever deserves that. However, there's a point where we get to take accountability for, okay, well, what role am I playing in this to allow this or attract this? And I got to that point in 2020. And that's when that was the last toxic experience that I had. And then more recently, it was a covert experience, which is great because it was a great relationship, great man, great experience, so healing, so grateful. However, it was under at place. There was a huge energy leak for me.
Mm.
And just looking at the dynamic of, okay, well, that's the plug, I'm the socket. What about me is enabling this and powering this
Mm.
for it to happen, So, and it's looking at it because we don't want to continue these patterns.
Right.
So it's a case of how do I need to raise my standards? How do I need to show up differently in relationships? How do I need to communicate differently? What is the standard in respects to this relational dynamic? What's the standard of man that I'm calling in? How much am I going to give away of myself at the start? Like what are my settings here? How am I going to approach this? So whether it be with relationships or, like the business aspects that I mentioned from previous in my journey when I zoomed out. Okay, so what's the missing link in this dynamic where it didn't work? It was the community. Okay, so move. And really have that confidence to be like, okay, thank you for everything that you've given me. I'm going to quietly leave now. And you don't even need to make a song and dance about it. It's just like, okay, I'm going over here now. Thank you.
Right.
And leaving and honoring yourself that much in respects to that. And there's a plug and a socket for everything. So whenever we notice the disharmony, this is how we get to alchemize, is just zooming out and looking through the ego deaths and through the reclamation of the power and the trust. It's all reclamation. That's all it is. We're just pulling it back and shedding.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I love that. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just like this as another aspect of being in your personal power and knowing, okay, yeah, I have power here, right? It's not like, oh, I'm a victim and we're blaming the victims or it's your fault that something's bad. It's like I hate that it always gets into this discussion of fault, like we'll start to talk about manifestation and some people will be like, oh, you're blaming people for not manifesting their life or
Like,
whatever. And it's like that's
it's
not
normally the victims that say that. Sorry to interject, but it is normally the victims that
it
say
is.
that.
It really is. It's like, yeah, it's not actually the discussion. The discussion is not about fault. The discussion is about where can you claim your power? Which is a
Yeah.
beautiful thing of like, where can I claim, like, where can I walk away? Where can I hold a different standard within myself? Like, what options do I have there? And claiming those, like, no matter how scary they can be, and I think that's the tricky part, but knowing that what's interesting too is that once you start claiming that, all these doors start to open. You start different voices start coming in, different helpers start showing up, and that's what's so interesting about it is because there really is all of this available. But if you're not open to it, it's not there. It's like you're in a different reality. And then all
Yeah.
of a sudden you're in Wonderland and it's things start to shift. You start to realize, oh wow, I just met the exact person I needed to meet, right? And it meets you there.
And that's also, I feel, a part of wealth as well, is,
Yeah.
and this is a quote that I found years ago that just came up. Open your mind, your brain's not gonna fall out.
Yeah.
And
It's
I've
great.
stuck by that for years. So many people's minds are closed because their identity is so attached to the beliefs that they have, and
Yeah.
this is why everyone's going through such, like, with everything that's being released right now, because they can't even fathom that the world can be as dark as what it is. So
Right.
it's really opening our mind in the sense of, okay, well, this and that, it's good can only be good if there's bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's really opening our mind to also different perspectives too. We live, and you mentioned reality, a whole different reality. There's 8 billion different people on this planet. There's one world, 8 billion different people. These 8 billion different people, they're operating from different levels of consciousness, which means there's 8 billion different worlds because they're looking through different lenses, different colored glasses. So when we link back to this whole journey of reality and understanding it in the best way for ourselves, the best way that we can do it is by learning to understand other people's, and
Yeah.
by learning to listen to other people's. And when we open our mind in that sense of, oh, okay, so they think differently to me, that's interesting, that's curious, let's get curious rather than
Yeah.
combative. Let's get curious and ask questions. And if it resonates, I'll keep it. And if it doesn't resonate, then I'll leave it and I'll just go upon my way. And then through that, it's like you said, that's how we meet these people. And this is the magic of the universe, which opens our wealth flow and our abundance flow
It
is being
does.
open, because we can't receive unless we're open to receive. And to be open
Yeah.
to receive, yeah, it starts in the mind, but then it's within the body, which is where the emotional and the energetics work come in.
Yeah. Yeah. The opening to receive is huge, right? Like not being, it took me a really long time to understand on a body level what it means to like stop gripping, to just stop being like, no, I need this. I want this. Like, this is what we're doing. Like, wow. Because I can make a lot of stuff happen from that place. And that's the thing too. It's not that you can't make things happen. You can make things happen. You can grip and say, oh yeah, I'm gonna make this work. Um, Gosh, it's actually kind of funny looking back on how much of a journey that was for me to just simply, like not constantly be chasing and gripping. And it's really only more recently even that like I've opened to that more, where I'm like, and right away there was surprise money offered, like, just things I wasn't expecting, clients I'm not expecting, right? Like it's all right there, and it really is like you can't receive if you're not able to receive, you're not able to receive. It's like,
Yeah.
how can I receive if I'm constantly like there's no openness to it? And so it just makes sense, but it really is easier said than done for some people who I think have just lived that way their entire life. And so of course, yeah, back to the beginning of like coming into that safety and coming into the body and coming into noticing the energy leaks and making changes of like, well, maybe I need to be in this environment now, and doing the brave thing of jumping off the cliff and going on the hero's journey over and over and over again is what will
Yeah.
do it. Yeah.
Yeah. And congratulations for getting to this place and all of the flow coming to you, because I get it. It's a journey. It's a journey. And it's it's none of our fault. And this is also what, because when we're going through this, and like for me, being a reflector, my journey is very, very non-linear, and it's not been fast. It's been very organic, it's been very sustainable. And I've found that this is simply the way of the reflector, because we
Yeah.
have that 28-day cycle. And especially where I've pretty much navigated my journey, I've had mentors and sources around me, but pretty much on my own, because it's pretty hard to coach a reflector. We're all fucking it's pretty hard to even coach myself sometimes, but we do it. But yeah, it's trusting, because through this journey we're going to have me coming up and comparing ourselves, and we're not getting things as fast as someone else, or things aren't happening as fast. And it's this, and also remembering that when this me comes up, that's just programs and that's not us.
Yeah.
And linking back to the gripping, it's because we've all been programmed into lack, into scarcity, into fear. We've all been programmed to be victims, to be followers.
Yeah.
So when we're programmed that way, unconsciously, unknowingly, that those programs not only came from society and school, they came from our parents, which came from their parents, and not out of malice from our caregivers. They didn't know what they didn't know, just like we don't know what we don't know until we know, and then we can refine and apply better and get better. So it's remembering on this journey to continually come back to love and compassion for ourselves, first and foremost, because the more we're able to do that, and the more we're anchored into that, a thing that's come up for me just now is a huge part, and I'm sure it's been a huge part for you being a projector. A huge part of my journey is rest. I need a lot of rest.
Uh,
And because of the way that we've been programmed, because the majority of society, 70%, are working on generator energy. So society's been built by generators for generators. But then when it comes to reflectors, projectors, and manifestors, we've been programmed in a way to do, go, 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 go. So
Right.
when we're in this process of deconditioning and reconditioning ourselves back to our true essence, there's this, you should be doing more. You got this to do. And I'm very Capricorn heavy as well. I have like 5 planets in Capricorn and my North Node. So I'm very ambitious and got to do the work, and I put a lot of pressure on myself. So it's this me, and it's like, no, I'm just going to listen to my body and come back to this love and compassion and remembrance that whatever's going meh, meh, meh in there from our ego is just a level of programming that we get to let go of. And then again, when we zoom out to this gripping, and
Mm.
when we let go, that's when the flow comes. When we let go and we zoom out of the world and nature and the way that the universe works as a whole in symbiotic flow, it's our birthright to be abundant. Prosperity is our birthright. It's our birthright to be fed. It's our birthright to have shelter. And how do we know this? Well, if we live in nature and if we live off the land, everything is provided to us. Yes, we have to put work in to build our homes and hunt and find and forage the food and all of that. However, it's provided for, it's there for free. And
Yeah.
money's simply an energy. That's all money is. It's an energy. So when we let go to the remembrance of, right, abundance is my birthright. And yes, I have this divine mission right now. And yes, the world, this 3D reality is governed by money. We're not going to bypass that because this world is governed by money. And we've already spoken about it in the sense of resource and money in the hands of good people is what's going to change this world. And there's a lot of people in the spiritual communities that are like, well, we could just live off the land and yeah, okay, well, okay, we live in this reality. How are you going to create these regenerative communities? How are you going to create the homesteads that you're talking about? You need money, honey. So how are you going to do that? And then it's doing that internal work to do it. So it's getting out of this, yes, it is our birthright. It is our birthright. And at the same time, we've got this illusional reality to play with when it comes to the money. So as much as we get to learn about workings and the powers of the universe in respects to flow and letting go and symbiosis and regeneration, we also must work with the workings of the system and in that sense and bring it together to become masters of our own reality in that sense. And that's letting go of the programming and it's the trust and it's the surrender. There's so many different aspects, but it's all simple as well. It might seem complicated for people that are starting, but it's
Right.
simple. And at the same time, it's not easy. But then if you're choosing an easy life, you end up living a hard life. Whereas if you choose the hard things, then you end up living an easy life. So you get to choose your hard.
You get to, yeah, you get to choose long-term suffering or short-term acute, choosing something
Exactly.
difficult. Yeah, there's
Exactly.
so much good stuff in what you said, like just starting too with the love and the compassion and following our way. Yeah, I mean, that's like the weirdo way, right? It's like we have to do it our way. And I think that's why so many people who find me like actually one of my favorite clients, not that I have favorites, all my clients are my favorite client. One of my one of my clients is a reflector. And I think, reflectors and projectors find me, but also like neurodivergent generators and manifesting generators, especially neurodivergent people tend to find me because it's like they can't do it the way that somebody's like, oh, you have to do it this way. And so then they end up finding me, and it's like this deconditioning process of, well, how
Mm,
do you work? Like, how do you, and, not making it wrong. Because I really resonated definitely with the rest thing. I do need to rest, and I also feel the need to defend it. And I'm like, why am I defending this? Like, I just need to do it. Like, I can just rest. And when I do, nothing falls apart. It's actually the exact opposite. And my whole
mhm,
coding as a projector is to simply attract. So, of course, spending my entire, spending however many years, 30 years, chasing things didn't go great for me because I meant to just be in my power and attract. So all of that, and there's even more that you got into that was so good, where it's like, what was the rest of what you were saying? I'm like, there was more. There's more I wanted to comment on.
Oh my God, there's
Can't
so
remember the rest
many.
of
Like I end up
it.
talking about one thing and then going on a tangent, and I'm like, oh this.
It's all so good. It's all so good. Yeah. I mean, but like real I guess really, yeah, this is what it was. The abundance is your birthright, and that doesn't mean it's not hard. Like that doesn't mean we don't work. And I think this is actually one of the main things I've been observing in general is like I have noticed this discussion around like, are you just like in ease and flow and attracting versus are you like putting in the hard work, and business is hard work, and there's like this, yeah, there's this dichotomy, and I'm like, of course it's both. And also, not only is it both, it's discernment in direction. Like, where is your hard work going? Because if the hard
Mhm.
work is just trying to make something work that isn't right for you and putting in all this, pushing a rock up a hill, that doesn't matter. That's not going to do you any good. So it's really a shift in consciousness of like, what is hard work? And
Yeah.
where do we direct that? And I really believe hard work is exactly what we've been talking about, which is hard work is going on the hero's journey.
Hmm.
That's what it is. Like
Yeah.
it's radical honesty with yourself. It's the willingness to face the unknown. It's the willingness to face what's in you. It's taking personal responsibility. All like that. That's the hard, hard, hard
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
And in that there's really no discussion around that because you will
Yeah.
just effortlessly attract things, and yet you will be putting in a lot of effort just in the
Yeah.
correct area.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I completely agree with you. And the way that the world has been, the hard work has shifted because of the paradigms that we've been living in and the levels of consciousness that we've been at. Now, when it comes to the physical, our parents had to put in that hard work,
Yeah.
and they've created such beautiful things in the physical in respects to that, our ancestors, with how we live and what we do and all of that. And now with technology and everything that's around, we don't have to work as hard as what they did in that sense, in that realm. Now we're at a space of raising our levels of consciousness and looking at, okay, well, the way that we were brought up, we didn't necessarily get what we needed emotionally. We didn't necessarily get what we needed for our hearts. Our parents loved us. The majority I mean, not all parents are amazing in that sense. However, I do truly believe that we choose and we get exactly what we need on a soul level for our growth and evolution. So again, that's taking ownership, not victim blaming, but from a soul level, it's we all need growth and evolution in a
Mm.
certain way. So our parents have paved that way, and we can easily blame our parents of, oh, I didn't get this, I didn't get that. Okay, well, you got everything that you needed, and everything that you didn't need, everything that you needed that you didn't get, you needed to give that to yourself, and that's why you didn't get that from them, because you need to give that to yourself so you can anchor deeper in and amplify your personal power, so you can then become a better person and a better parent, so you can pass that down. And now we're at a stage of the hard work being that internal, because we didn't get what we needed on an emotional level, and different layers of childhood trauma and rage that's been suppressed, especially for
Yeah.
women, being told we must be good little girls and like keeping in our sacred rage, and which was basically a part of the agenda to disconnect us from our divine feminine. So
Oh,
it's
yeah.
all been orchestrated in such a beautiful way. And now we are at that stage of the hard work is internal. And I liked, and it goes like a gym. And I say this a lot with it's a great kind of metaphor. I use it for my business. It's like the gym. It's 80% in the kitchen and 20%
Mm.
in the gym. Because if you're going to the gym a lot but you're eating shit, your body's going to reflect that, right?
Right.
And it's the same now, where the resonance of the earth has shifted. Our energy as humans have shifted. We've had various different solar flares and support from the Greater Galactic Federation, if we want to put it that way, to support our raise in frequency and level of consciousness. So our energy has shifted, especially the light workers and the new earth leaders that are here to create huge shifts on the planet. So when it comes to the hard work, just like you said, it's internal, it's 80% internal. And then the 20% is simply following our intuitive guidance. This is how I found you. I said, right, I want to get back into speaking again because I
Yep.
went in my cave for years. I used to speak all of the time. And then I went back in to do my internal work, and sometimes a bit of it was quite a lengthy period, more to my detriment because of the egoic fears that we have,
Mm.
based around our wounding, which love and compassion, because you can only do your best, right?
Yeah.
So, but I had that intuitive call. Okay, I want to speak more. I want to go on a podcast. And I put that out there on Threads. And then in a couple of hours, I had 3 people reach out to me. And the hard thing was to actually come back to my conviction of why the fuck I'm here
Yeah.
and what I'm doing, and my trust and my faith in my belief in myself and my role. And now it's like, okay, I want to speak. And then the people are coming for me to speak and to share what I have to share to serve each respective audience. This is the work. It's that conviction piece. It's that self-trust, it's that inner knowing, it's that personal power, it's the using the voice, which is a huge thing. We've been trained to not use our voice.
That's
We've
true.
been trained to be disconnected from our throat chakra.
Yeah.
And that's because that's our most powerful weapon. We've been
Mm.
trained to live at a low frequency, and we've been trained to not use our voice because our frequency is our most important, one of the most important weapons, because when you're at high frequencies, we attract.
Right.
And our voice is what actually calls in our tribe and actually shares our frequency, because we've all got a different resonance in that's going to call them in. And like writing and talking about what's going on in our head, that's why they've made us feel insignificant and not. And the programming goes so deep to the point that they've made us believe, and this might even be woo woo for very many people, but I don't really care. They've made us believe that we're an insignificant rock floating in the sky and that we don't matter
Mm.
and that there's no point to this earth and that we have no control over our reality. When in
Mm.
actual fact, it's our mind that creates the reality and our frequency, because whatever we think and the story that we tell, link it to the way that we feel, that's what creates.
Mm. Yeah.
Crazy. And when we see it all, it's like, wow, okay, it's deep. And there's a lot of anger around
Mm.
it. It's like, how dare you disconnect me from my power? And then it's like, but I know how powerful I am now. So let's play a game, darling. Let's just keep getting better, like you said.
Right. Just keep getting better. Just keep playing it. Love that.
Oh,
Oh, well, I am gonna wrap up because I'm in a different time zone. I'm off to bed actually as we're recording this, but
good.
I would love to leave everyone with just like, where to find you or if there's anything that you want to invite people to just kind of be in your world, be in your
Yeah,
vibration. Let us know.
thank Thank you. And thank you so much for still being here and listening as well to the listeners. I know I talk a lot,
I
and
love
this
it.
is I was told this at school when I was younger. She talks too much. She talks too much, and now I just make a living sharing my voice, which is great.
Me too.
But yeah, thank you so much for the platform. Thank you so much for
Yeah.
inviting me on. I really do appreciate it. And I'm mainly on Instagram and Threads and YouTube, and I'm all about the wealth frequency. So the ecosystem that I've created is called the Wealth Frequency Shift. And we're all about creating everything in our lives that we ever desire in conscious community, rising together with the simple switch of water, darling. Water is life. So I'm all about health and wealth and community and Yeah, I'm calling in tribe. So if you have resonance with me, if you have resonance with what I'm sharing, I would really love to expand the mission with you. The mission is true health, true freedom, and sovereignty, not just for ourselves, but for everyone involved. It starts with ourselves. And as we embody and integrate everything it is that I teach and that you can also bring in as well, everyone's open. As we embody all of that, that ripples out to our families, which ultimately ripples out to our communities, which ultimately ripples out to the world as well. So I'm a leader leading leaders. I'm not here to save you. I'm not here to coddle your ego. I'm here to give you loving truth to support you rise into your greatest. And sometimes the truth hurts a little bit, but I do it because I love you. Do it because I love you. So yeah, if you feel the vibe, I'm here. My name's Mel M Rubin on all of my socials. My inbox is open. So yeah, just message me. I got you. We're
All
in this
right.
together.
Oh, amazing. Thank you so much, Mel. It's just been great having you on here. And thank you all so much for listening. Until next time.